Okay, now the ANC suspended Secretary General Ace Magashule will be back in court tomorrow morning. This case is very interesting. It's got two parts after today, with that civil application for the charges to be drawn to continue tomorrow. And then, of course, later on the 10th of June, supposed to be the continuation of the criminal trial in terms of the pre-trial proceedings in this multi-million rand asbestos corruption case in the Free State. Just to help us understand the legalities involved here, let's speak to legal expert now, Nthabiseng Dubazana. Nthabiseng, good afternoon and thank you very much for your time. From my understanding, this morning we saw sort of a number of things happening. Firstly was, of course, that led to the postponement of the pre-trial proceedings in the criminal case to the 10th of June. And then there was the beginning of a civil matter where there's an application brought by Mr. Magashule plus 3 other accused for their charges against them to be withdrawn. Am I right to say whatever outcome is happening tomorrow will have an impact on the pre-trial, the criminal side, for the 10th of June?
Well, from my experience in criminal court, usually you bring that application for charges to be withdrawn via representations to the senior public prosecutor or the control prosecutor, whoever is senior in that court, whereby you will cite the issues that you're raising that will then therefore lead to reasons why you are saying that charges should be withdrawn. That is usually the purpose of a pre-trial conference, so that you can analyze things that are not in dispute, analyze things that are in dispute, and then decide based on that and based on the docket content, whether or not you as the defense attorney say that there is a case, a prima facie case against your client or not. So usually the application for withdrawal happens by way of representations to the public prosecutor instead of going all the way through the route of the civil application. But be that as it may, it might possibly be that the civil application could have some impact on the criminal procedure, depending on the criminal case, rather, depending on the outcome thereof of the matter itself. Usually, it is usually the other way around. The criminal matter first happens, and then we dispose of it, and usually we end up going to the civil court based on the outcome of the criminal procedure, criminal matter. So as a result, I don't know how this is going to work out. It will be interesting to see how the court decides to deal with this situation.
Yeah, and my colleague earlier on, Spamandla Goge, spoke to Vuyomaga from the NPA, who said they're going to be opposing this application, the civil application that continues tomorrow morning, on the grounds that it is baseless. They don't believe that Mr. Magashule and the 3 other accused have a strong case for getting the procedure and how it's done. And I was just wondering, what if the judge or the court rules in favor of Mr. Magashule and the 3 other accused? Does it then give grounds for throwing out the criminal case or not? Has that happened before?
From my knowledge, I'm not sure if it's happened before. But if the judge does decide in favor of Dr. Magashule and the 3 others, it would mean that that outcome, we can use it in the representations come the 10th of June, when we go to court and say, based on this, the court has decided or is on my side and confirms that there is no merit on this case, and therefore the charges should be withdrawn. And by virtue of that, the state may provisionally withdraw the charges based on whatever the outcome of the civil matter is, that is. If maybe the court says you need to look into this and look into that, because remember, part of the application that is made is that the charges based on against the accused persons is based on the evidence that they gave at the Zondo Commission. So what is being argued by the applicants is that that information that was given during the Zondo Commission inquiry should not be used in terms of Section 8 of the Commission's inquiry. But Section 8, remember, it was amended by Dr. Ramaphosa to be that certain information can be used, certain cannot be, especially if it is self-incriminating. That is the basis of the argument of the applicants. And the state is saying that that is the decision of a trial court to decide whether or not that information gathered at the Zondo Commission is indeed worthy to be placed on record or not.
Okay, we'll have to wait and see what happens tomorrow, and that outcome will then determine what happens on the 10th of June. Thank you very much for your insights and analysis there, Nthabiseng Dubazana.